Hello ladies! Welcome to my cooking show, I guess. This is exciting. I've never done this before, so bear with me a little bit. I wanted to choose something from our week 4 meal plan, so I just printed out the recipe from the PDF plan that was sent earlier this week. So I'm making the creamy pasta with kale recipe. On the meal plan, it was doubled, so you would have it for dinner for a serving of 4 and then leftovers the next night. But I'm actually going to change it up a little bit, and I'm going to make it for lunch, and I'm going to half the recipe just for 4 servings, because a lot of times it's just me at home during lunch. Sometimes Owen is here, but I didn't want to make too much that it would go to waste. And so what I usually do when I'm looking at a recipe is I like to kind of do a quick overview and see what I have, and if I don't have something, see if I can substitute it pretty easily without having to go to the store. So this recipe has 9 ingredients, and the first one is chickpea pasta. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that because you may not have ever seen that or heard of it before. But I have 3 different kinds of chickpea pasta, actually 4 in my pantry. But I'm using Banza is what it's called. So Banza is a chickpea pasta. What's really great about this pasta is that it is gluten-free. And so if you have any gluten sensitivities, I recently found out this past fall that I have a pretty significant sensitivity to gluten. So I've been trying to avoid it as much as I can. So that's when Banza came into my life. What's also great about Banza is that it has much more fiber, and it also has a lot more protein per serving, so it fills you up a lot better than a regular white pasta or even a regular whole wheat pasta. You can find these almost anywhere. I found this at Target. I've seen them at Hy-Vee. I think they're pretty much mainstream in many of the grocery stores, and you'll find them in the same aisle that you would find your regular pasta. And so this is one option. I already pre-cooked it, so I'll show you guys, but this one was wheels. I thought it was just a little bit more fun, and I thought the kiddos might be more interested in trying the food if they thought the noodles were fun. So this is one option. Just to give you an idea, 25 grams of protein per serving, you guys, and the average pasta only has 13 grams of protein. Fiber, we're gonna have 13 grams of fiber, and the regular pasta only has 3 grams. And then carbs is substantially smaller and lower as well. So the net carbs for a serving of this is 43 grams, and an average pasta is over 70 grams. It's 71 grams. So this is a great chickpea pasta. I also wanted to show you guys this chickpea pasta. This is from Barilla. And so again, you can find this almost anywhere. Target, Hy-Vee. I don't know about Cubs. Actually, I do know about Cubs. I think I got this one at Cub. And so pretty mainstream. You can find it pretty easily, and there's been a lot of deals on these lately because, you know, they're trying to introduce them. So great alternative. This one again is really simple, and what I love about this one compared to the Banza is it literally only has 1 ingredient, which is the chickpeas, which is awesome. So it's a little bit less in protein, but that's because Banza actually added some pea protein to theirs. So if you want something that's really pure and simple, I would go with the Barilla. Again, it's only 1 ingredient, which just is amazing. So naturally gluten-free, non-GMO, all the good things. And then I just thought I would show that you can get Banza in multiple different kind of types. So this one is rotini. I also have Banza rice, which is a great alternative too when you don't want to use a white rice as well. So where I'm at with this this meal plan is I just completed number 1, which was to cook the pasta accordingly. The next thing I'm going to do is actually go ahead and saute what is the kale and the garlic. So I didn't have any kale. As we know, right now the grocery stores are a little bit limited depending on which one we're going to. And so this week I didn't get kale, but I was able to get spinach, which is also a great substitute. You'll see it in the notes below that any green leafy veggie will work, and so spinach is great. It'll saute down nicely, and so that's the one I chose. For this recipe, once I cut it in half, it's looking for about 5 1/3 cups. And so what I like to do, especially when I am trying to measure lettuce or something that's kind of bulky and weird, I always look at the back of the recipe or of the bag, and I look at the nutrition facts and see what the servings are, and then I kind of base my guesstimates off of that. So for this one, it's a 3-cup serving size, and it's telling me it has 2 servings in this bag. So that brings me to about 6 cups. So I'm not gonna save, you know, a half a cup of spinach. I'm just gonna wilt it all down. So I'm gonna throw it all in the saucepan and let it do its magic, because I wouldn't wanna just, you know, waste, and then it's just gonna wilt and get all mushy and slimy and gross in my fridge. So I like to be able to use everything that I can. So I'm gonna use that whole bag. In the skillet, I'm going to put in some garlic. And so I don't know if you guys have ever seen these, but this is it's an organic garlic. It's all pre-chopped. It's great because what I have found is if you forget that you have garlic in your fridge, you guys, or somewhere sitting out, it smells horrible. And I don't love garlic all the time, and so this is a really great option for you to buy. Target has them in their produce section. I've seen them in other grocery stores. You just use a half a teaspoon, and that equals 1 clove. And so that's what I'm gonna do here. This recipe is calling for 2 2/3 garlic cloves, so a little kind of funny. So I'm not a huge garlic fan, so I'm probably just gonna put kind of a heaping half a teaspoon in there to kind of equivalent to a half of the recipe. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this going. So it was a little hard trying to figure out how to show you guys all this the best, so bear with me a little bit as we kind of move through this. I don't have a production crew. Matt's working, and the boys are actually both at a sitter today, which is amazing. So you're not going to hear any boys in the background screaming or anything, which is great. But it left limited extra hands to kind of figure out how to shoot this. So thank you for being patient and bearing with me when you might not be able to see everything. But what I think you can see is this is a heaping mound of spinach, and it can feel like too much, but you guys, it's gonna wilt down, so you're not gonna have to worry about it. So what I'm just gonna do is go behind me here. Obviously whoever built my house didn't think they were ever gonna do any cooking shows or demos, because there's a wall right in front of my stovetop, but I'll bring it over for you guys so you can kind of see it wilt. So as that's starting, I'm gonna start looking at step 3 here, which is making the sauce. And so I don't know if anybody has made any sauce before with cashews, but this recipe called for a raw cashew sauce. So this is another way to eliminate dairy, to try to make a creamy sauce with an alternative. And so I had these raw cashews from quite a bit ago, actually, so it's great, they last forever. So what you are supposed to do, the instructions ask to soak the cashews for 30 minutes at least to really soften them up so they're not gritty when you're going to be blending up this this sauce. And so I put this in probably about even an hour ago. I mean, I don't think you can soak them too much, so I'm not too worried about it. So what you're supposed to do is, this is about a cup of cashews in here. I'm soaking them in my Magic Bullet cup, just to kind of make cleanup easy and not have to do multiple dishes. And so the first thing you're gonna do is you are gonna wanna strain that water that's in there. So I'm using a mesh strainer to do this, so then none of, I don't lose any of the nuts or anything that are in there. So just give me a second, I'm gonna strain this. And so right away I can tell that these cashews are much softer, and they're gonna be easily blended up in the Power Bullet, or what is this called exactly? The Magic Bullet. Okay, so that's now. I'm gonna give a quick stir over here to the spinach, so I'll be right back. And you guys, I'm gonna add a little bit of water to this. Just to kind of start helping that wilting process. So back to the sauce. So you can see here I just poured back in the cashews with no water in here, but we will add some water back in just a second. So after that, we drained them, and then we're gonna add the drained cashews, some water, nutritional yeast. That's an optional ingredient, and since it's optional, I didn't go buy any. I never use it for anything else, so I thought that seems kind of silly. So unless I'm gonna have a meal plan that's gonna ask for a few things, then I might buy it, but for just a one-off lunch like this, an optional ingredient I probably won't invest in. Lemon juice, so it's asking for 2 2/3 tablespoon of lemon juice. Typically, like especially in the winter, I probably won't have lemon juice, so I try to keep this in my fridge, which is great. You can use it for so many things, and so it's just a bottle of lemon juice, and it really lasts a long time. So put it in your fridge, keep it there, and then if you don't have fresh lemons on hand, it's always a good alternative. But I did have some fresh lemons today, so I'm gonna go ahead and use these up because I don't want them to go bad. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna deseed it, and we need about a tablespoon because again, I'm halving this recipe. So I'm gonna guess that that's gonna be about half of this lemon. So I have this little juicer, which is amazing. It's great for lemons, it's great for limes, and I'm just gonna go ahead and juice this right in here. Get all that yummy goodness. Final squeeze. And then it's also calling for the virgin olive oil. So for the recipe, it's going to ask me for about 1/3 of a cup for the full recipe. So I'm just gonna take my 1/3 and just eyeball it. You guys, I don't know if you guys don't do a ton of cooking, you might not know, but cooking is much more forgiving than baking is. But if you're baking, you need to be very, very exact. Whereas with cooking, you can kind of do your own thing. You can kind of experiment. You can't really ruin it by, you know, a pinch of this, a pinch of that. Make it your own. Make it something you're gonna like to eat. I use Pertoli olive oil. Try to get one that has a darker bottle. That's always better in terms of just how long it keeps and whatnot. So I'm gonna add that. I need to add a little bit of water in here as well. So it's asking me for 1 1/3 cups. So I'm just gonna do a 1/2 cup and a splash. I'm gonna bring this over, be right back. And then it's also asking for some salt and pepper. So I'm gonna give this spinach a stir, you guys. It's really starting to wilt down nicely. I know you can't see me, you can only hear me. I'll bring this over kind of once we're mixing everything together. I just don't want to have to be moving you guys back and forth. But I'm grabbing my salt and pepper. This as for sea salt. I have sea salt somewhere, but this is just convenient, so I'm gonna just go ahead and use it. And I'm just gonna kind of eyeball this. I like to be able to season once the dish is done, and I like people to be able to season theirs on their own. I have some people in my family that have to have really low sodium, like my dad, and so I don't like to put a lot of salt, so then he can either add if he just needs a little bit, or he might want to use a salt substitute, whatever that looks like for your family. So this is kind of what the sauce looks like. I know it doesn't look completely appetizing right now, but it will after we blend it up. So let me grab that. And this is full disclosure, guys, I've never made this recipe before. I just really chose it because it seemed pretty simple, and I also just kind of wanted to talk through ways that I take recipes that might come my way and make them work for me, instead of having to try to follow the meal plans or a certain recipe to the very T, because I know that can be really hard sometimes, especially based on different sensitivities or just what you even have in your home. So what I'm gonna do is I'm shaking this up a little bit before I put it on the blender. So, sorry, this is gonna be loud, but all I'm doing is putting this right on my magic bullet, and I'm just gonna let it do. know if you guys can see this, so I'm gonna try to put it really close for you, but it's already looking like a really yummy, creamy sauce. I mean, it's coating this already. It looks nice and thick. It kind of reminds me of like an Alfredo sauce. Again, I haven't tried it yet, but just the consistency, it looks really good. I'm just gonna give it one last blend here. All right, perfect. I'm gonna check over here at the spinach. It looks like it's really wilting down. 1 second. And I'll grab the pasta so you guys can see this. So I already, like I mentioned, I pre-made the pasta. And I wanted to show you guys what this looks like since some of you may never have seen chickpea pasta. I can vouch and let you guys know that I have made this for my family and I've had the boys eat it, and definitely from with a red sauce, I've never heard any complaints. They didn't really say anything about it. And I think when you can distract them with fun shapes, can you guys see that? With some fun shapes, it's kind of fun. They're more interested in what's happening there. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna, to make this easier so you guys can kind of see, I'm going to bring over the skillet. It looks like it's almost all, yes, that looks good. It's almost all wilted down. So I will add everything together so you can see it here, and then I'll finish sauteing it. And I'll take a final picture for you guys so you can kind of see what it looked like, and I can give it a review for you. Let me just get this out of the way. All right. So here, remember we had that huge mound, and now here's all that's left of that spinach. Isn't that insane how much that wilts down? It's pretty incredible. So what the recipe basically calls for is you want to toss all this in and the cream sauce, and then just let it kind of heat through. So I'm gonna put this entire package of the chickpea noodles right in with this. And then I'm also going to add the cream sauce that we made. What's kind of nice about using a fresh lemon is if at the end I decide I need a little bit more flavor or just a little bit more brightness, I still have the other half of this that I can squirt in, or else I could even think about zesting in, I could zest in some of the lemon as well, just to have a little freshness, or just to make it look pretty. All right, so let's see how this looks. You guys, it's like, I know it's kind of hard, but it is really thick and it looks really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pour this on. I want you guys to see it. I mean, if you can tell, it's nice and creamy, which is great. I think letting those cashews soak longer is probably the better alternative than not soaking long enough. So I would definitely recommend that. So I'm just gonna do a quick stir here. And like I said, I'm gonna bring it back to the stove to kind of finish off here and cook through, because I cooked the noodles earlier today, and so, well, not too early, just right before this, but they're probably cooled off. So I want everything to heat through. So I'm gonna bring this back over to the stove. And I'm just gonna give it a quick stir. Alright guys, this looks really yummy. So I'm gonna bring you over just so you guys can, I'm gonna bring you over, maybe not. I think I'm just gonna take a picture because I don't wanna make you guys all jumbly and make it difficult for you guys to see. So I'm gonna just leave you guys with that. I hope this was helpful to kind of just see how I work through recipes and think about different ways to make them work for me and for my family. If you have any questions, let me know. I would love to help you in any way that I can. I just want to thank you guys. I mean, this last 4 weeks has been amazing. Getting to know you and cheering each other on. It's been super inspiring and encouraging. I hope you'll think about joining us again. The next session starts June 15th. If you have any questions, again, just please reach out. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear how you felt the 4 weeks went. And I hope to talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye-bye.